How many people?
I just went
Hi,
live, so I don't know.
welcome everybody. We'll get started in a minute.
Right, you ready?
Yes.
That doesn't really matter.
That is.
Good morning and welcome to the County of Berrien. It is a pleasure to have you all here this morning. As a reminder, please turn off or silence any electronic devices as we conduct the meeting today. Any materials that you wish to have distributed to the Board of Commissioners, please do so by giving it to our Sergeant of Arm, which is Commissioner Jim Kern here on the end. He'll be sure to distribute that to the board. During any of the public comments, whether it's for the items on the consent calendar or those just for general, you can come to the podium, state your name, where you're from. You have 2 minutes to address the board. And with that, we have our invocation is going to be given by Commissioner John Hinkleman, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be given by Commissioner Rayante Bell. If you wish to join us, please stand.
You bow with me. Father God, we come to you today with humble hearts. We come to you today with contrite hearts. Father God, thank you. Thank you for the blessings that you have poured down upon us. Thank you for the blessings that you have given this county and the people that live here. Thank you for the air that we have to breathe and the lungs that we have to breathe it with. Father God, we thank you for the challenges that you give us. Whatever challenges are in front of every individual on this board today, we offer them up to you, Lord. We ask only that you give us the wisdom to tackle these challenges as you would see fit, so that we fulfill your plan for this beautiful place that you have entrusted with us at this point in time. So Father, that's our prayer today. Please give us the wisdom to handle the challenges, to handle the business of the county as appropriately as you would have us do that. We ask all this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both. Appreciate that. At this point in the agenda, we'll turn to the clerk for roll call.
Bell,
Here.
Curran,
Here.
Freeling,
Present.
Harrison,
Here.
Hinkleman,
Here.
Majerick,
Here.
Ott,
Present.
Pitchford,
Here.
Ballraff,
Present.
Werfel. Here. Yarborough, Elliott. Madam Chair, you have 10 present and 2 absent.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from May 11th, and I would entertain a motion to approve that. Yes.
Question.
Can we get the motion and
No, I was gonna ask about amending the agenda
I'll do that next.
next. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
If
you.
you want to approve the minutes,
I-
I will make that motion.
Great. Is there support? So it's been approved or moved by Commissioner Kern, supported by Commissioner Pitchford. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Minutes have been approved, and I was wrong. I was going to do communication first and then amend the agenda. Madam Clerk, I
We
believe
have-
we have.
No communications for this week.
Oh, okay. I thought we had one. No communications. Thank you. So at this point in time, we have one resolution that we're wishing to add to the agenda. Resolution A 2305223. So I would like to entertain the idea of amending the agenda to include that resolution.
I will make that motion.
That is your motion, okay. Is there support? Seconded by Commissioner Warfel. It was moved by Commissioner Kern. Is there any discussion on that, to add that to the agenda? Hearing none, is that a roll call? Yeah. Can you please take roll for that?
Yes.
vote? Thank you.
Curran,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman.
Yes.
Majerick,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Pitchford,
Yes.
Ballraff,
Yes.
Werfel. Yes. Bell,
Yes.
Freeling.
Yes,
Madam Chair, you have 10 yeas.
thank you. We're all here and we all have said yes. And just for those who are here in attendance, I do believe that the resolution's been passed out to you all. And this will be something that we will read in while we consider it for the consent calendar. So we are now at that point in the agenda for public comments regarding any resolutions that are on the agenda, including the added resolution that we amended the agenda for. Are there any public comments for those resolutions at this time? Right, hearing none. We're now at that point for the consent calendar. And when we do this, please consider in your motion adding those added resolutions, including the one that ends in 223. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar with the added resolutions, including 223.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner Pitchford, supported by Commissioner Majerick.
Before you take a vote, I just want to make sure that we have 223 included in the motion.
Correct.
Would this be the time to
To
read
read it.
this?
Yes, this would be the time that we would need to read that. And Commissioner Kern was so kind to say that he would read that into the record for us.
Hey, Joe, will you turn the mic?
Turn
on?
his mic on.
Thank you.
Resolution ending in 5223.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your County Administration Committee respectfully recommends the adoption of the following resolution. Whereas the Berrien County Road Department facilities are in need of improvement and expansion, and whereas at the January 12th, 2023 Board of Commissioners meeting, authorization was given to pursue suitable real estate for the road department needs and to negotiate and bring back option agreements for approval. And whereas two property owners near the Baroda Garage have a desire to grant an option to sell their property to Berrien County. And whereas these acquisitions, if exercised, would provide additional land for the future needs of the road department. And whereas an option to purchase agreement has been written for parcel number 1102-0014-0014-11-0 with Craft Effect Incorporated. And whereas an option to purchase agreement has been written for parcel number 1102-0014-0014-12-0 with Fence Masters LLC. And whereas the agreed upon total purchase price of the properties under these options to purchase agreements is $58,000 with a $2,000 payment to each property owner for entering into the option to purchase, which shall remain in effect for 1 year from the effective date of the agreement. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Berrien County Board of Commissioners does hereby approve the intent to enter into an option to purchase a total of 2.67 acres of property located adjacent to the road department Baroda Garage, and authorizes the chairman to execute and enter into these option to purchase agreements for $4,000.
Thank you for reading that into the record.
You're welcome.
That is included as one of the added resolutions. We have the motion, the support. Is there any further discussion for any of the resolutions on the consent calendar? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to take the roll.
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Majerick,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Ballraff,
Yes.
Werfel,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Freeling.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 10 yeas.
All right, the consent calendar has been approved with those resolutions included on it. Committee reports. Personnel.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. We met this morning, had a lengthy discussion with Jill Adams regarding the Parks Department. And then we had the privilege of having the vice chair and whatever Mr. Doucette's title is this week, come and talk with us about a number of different issues. And so we had a good meeting, and that would be the end of my report.
Thank you for that. Next is the Administration Committee.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. First in to see us this morning was our Animal Control Director, Ashley Herr, and Commissioner Ott would like to report.
Well, first off, Ashley said that things are going very.
Microphone.
Start over. So first off, Ashley said things are going very well. They attended a dog fight investigation training to help identify dogs that are being trained for fighting, that have been in fights, and if they are safe enough to be released back into the public. They also had a capture bull training, which means, if you recall, we had a discussion, or I forget who it was that came in that talked about a trailer that we helped purchase for tipped over livestock. This will help them to gather the animals, take care of them, and it was all part of that grant that was used to purchase the trailer. Dog numbers in the shelter going down, thanks to the court cases, dogs tied to court cases that are being resolved much quicker in the courthouse over there next door. Boss Service adoption event that was held in April, Ashley said was a great success. They had 6 dogs and 1 guinea pig that was adopted. The sheriff and animal control are discussing a separation of operations. They currently operate under the same ordinance. The idea is separating the two would help better clarify the services and operations of the 2 departments. And unless I missed anything, which I probably did, that is my report.
Thank you, Alex. Next in to see us was our Road Department Director, Mark Heilinger, who talked to us. Apparently, he was also in finance and talked to you folks about adding the Waymaster vehicle onto the scheduled vehicles for the Sheriff's Department. And by doing that, he said he could save $10,000. So we were in agreement with that. Next time we get together, we will have some resolutions for you. Resolution ending in 215. This is the resolution that authorizes 3 deputies to Dials Township. They're going from 6 deputies to 9 deputies. This is to increase those 3 deputies and also the funding to pay for those positions.
Does it say 6 in there?
Excuse me?
What's wrong with it? 7 deputies to 10 deputies.
Oh, 7 to 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
so sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but that's not right.
No, that's fine. I was told 6 to 9, so 7 to 10 is fine. If you look at the numbers on the sheriff's report, they need 10 deputies down there. Busy area. Tell them Hoosiers. Okay, then the next resolution ending in 218. This is to receive funds for the Sheriff's Department Marine Unit in the amount of $100,000 and $100,000 and $700. That's 75% reimbursement for the Marine Division. And then resolution ending in 221. This is for the Red Arrow. That's it. Yeah, I was looking for it in here, but that's it for the non-motorized trail. This is for. Let's see, it's along Red Arrow Highway from Harbert Community Park to Sawyer Road. The total project is $674,500. That $433,600 is federal funds. $240,900 is the road department funding. And so this is to authorize that contract for the non-motorized trail. And that is our report.
Thank you for that report. Are there any questions for admin? All right, moving on to finance, John.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Real quickly, we had a visit on from Annette on the bid opening process. And as you know, we're reviewing some of the policies that we have right now. And one of the concerns that we have is oftentimes we'll have a contract that will accompany a bid. And this contract needs to be considered for fluidity as part of the workload. And so we asked that Annette maybe takes this concern to Thaddeus to try to find out just exactly where we're at. Come back to us with some language so that we can move through it and so that our administrator can move through it a little bit more fluidly. So that's where that's at. We had one bid approval, and as you know that we had a exhaust situation in the jail where we had the fire there. And so we had a bid for a temporary exhaust from Building and Grounds that came through. It came through under budget. There's only one bid, and we moved that to Building and Grounds to be considered. It was projected to be a $35,000 fix, and it came in at $31,619. And so we sent it back to them for their purview. We had some waiver request approvals come in today for either single sourcing or going to a particular vendor. One of them was for all the trucks that were set up in the county. As far as the plow trucks, we needed plow parts for them, an inventory of plow parts. And so after we had a dialogue about that, we felt it was perfectly appropriate to go to, they're from Monroe Plows. And so the vendor that put the trucks together, they're the ones that are going to supply the parts. And so there won't be they know exactly what they need for that. And to Jim's earlier point, we did talk with Mark about the Chevy Tahoe from the Waymaster, and that'll have to be taken care of. What finance was concerned about, we wanted to make sure that you know and that everybody knows, but we wanted it'll be budgeted next year for this vehicle, but they'll be able to save by ordering now. They'll be able to save about the $10,000 bill. And then there was one more waiver for a generator transfer from our one of the sheriff's vehicles to the other one. Is it the site
Crime scene.
crime scene
Investigation.
unit? They're going to transfer the generator from one vehicle to another vehicle, and they're going to sole source that.
It's just worth noting that this project started in 2020. It's insane how long.
It's taken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's taken. Yeah. And then we will have a couple resolutions coming to you next week. There was an additional one that wasn't quite ready that came to us, but that will not be coming to us next week. That's about a drain on Lemon Creek. We've asked the drain commissioner to step in and explain that to us. There's another one that's going to be coming. That's an agreement with Merit Network. And the BC BIT committee met apparently and had consensus that they wanted an agreement about utilizing the data to be done. And so that will be coming, I believe, next week. And then there's another one that will be coming to you to prepare it's called a 614 form which is for the taxes to the state.
Millage rate.
Yep. So the millage
For the
rates.
millage rates.
Yes.
And that'll be coming to you next week also. And I believe that's what we did. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions for finance?
For the plow parts, are those parts already, I mean, they're paid for parts, I just want them stored on site?
No, what they want to do is there's additional parts that will be needed for these plows. And so what they'll need is that the people that set these trucks up, the people that set the trucks up are the people that are providing the parts. And the question came up, just to be very detailed about it. Terry had a question whether or not Monroe parts could be bought from different vendors out of states and whether we should qualify more people to bid, possibly get a lower bid on this. After the dialogue, this group these are the people that set up our trucks. And so rather than hang a stone around somebody else's neck saying, well, we don't know what you've got.
Yep.
This makes the most sense.
Nope,
So the
makes
plow
sense.
parts will be parts held on inventory for those plows.
Oh, gotcha.
Are there any other questions for finance? No? All right. So next we will go around and do commissioners' reports. And Michael, I'm going to start with you.
All right. Well, I went to the Riverwood meeting last night, and they went over their annual housing structure that they have, which is they don't have mental hospitals anymore, but they have homes that are either you're court ordered to go into, or it can be the hospital or your doctor refers you. And what happens once you're inside, you're supervised 24/7. They are there day and night, and somebody is there awake all hours with different shifts. And they help you with living in a house, how to survive in a house, train them, educate them. But they also work to finding you a job, also work to finding you adequate residence somewhere else. And usual stay, average stay is about a year. Though some people can stay 90 days, check themselves out, unless it's court ordered. And they just went over all that, and everything is good. That, of course, they don't have as many nurses and therapists as they've had in the past, and they're looking to hire them. Pay has been increased to help get that, and they're still probably 20% short. Also went over evaluation of Medicare, Medicaid, and it is the single largest coverage program in the USA. Roughly 95 million people are on it, or 30% of the population. It is at right now they're spending Medicaid $825 billion a year, headed 1.2 trillion by 2023. Medicaid has 95 million people. Medicare has 90 million. Marketplace has 20 million. Military VA has 15 million. And that brings it to 210 million that are on insurance plans. And I'll just pass this around. You can look at it. And we are still looking for one board member to fill that all the quota out there.
Michael, did you say that Medicaid is bigger than Medicare?
Yes.
95 million.
By, yeah,
5
it is.
million.
It's the largest. Medicare is 90 million people and Medicaid is 95.
Thank you.
Nothing to report, though. Sitting at the breakfast table with multiple farmers, they had kudos for both the road department, the drain commission, because they say they had been seeing folks out there looking over their drains, the ditches, ponds, I guess. So I just wanted to pass that along to them. They were happy to see county tax dollars finally, in their words, being put to good use.
I attended the CEO meeting with the chamber last Friday, and did bring up to all the township city supervisors, managers, whoever was in attendance, our committee of the whole meeting next week. We will have the solar zoning ordinance presentation from MSU, and invited them to join in via Zoom or to watch later their planning commissions on YouTube, since it's recorded. Also attended the police memorial on Monday, which was very well done. And then yesterday had the first meeting of the opioid settlement task force, and we got that started. They're hoping to complete the strategic plan for that settlement by the end of this year to present to this full board for potential approval at that time. So that work is just beginning. The task force is made up of Commissioner Freeling and myself from this board, and then it's made up of a few other departments within the county, as well as I want to say 15 community partners or community organizations that are all involved in different aspects of the opioid issues.
Julie, Brian just wanted to add a little to that.
So
Okay.
to the commissioners, Commissioner Werfel just noted next Thursday's committee of the whole discussion. So MSU Extension's coming to talk to you about model ordinances for solar installation. This is something that if you have a few minutes to talk with your supervisors in your districts, at the meeting that we sat at, AEP talked about the fact that they are attempting to purchase solar leases. This is something that is very much hitting the local units. And if you have a few minutes to call your supervisors, it really is worth their time. They can watch on the YouTube page, they can come sit in person, and then I've shared the presentation file with the chamber. The chamber is trying to push that out to all the local units. But this is one of those that it really is important that they be aware, number one, that there's a model ordinance available, and number two, that there is actually very real activity in the lease market, and that if at the local level, they want some controls on how solar gets built, they need to be doing that right now. Sorry to.
And to add to that, I mean, it's, you know, as the MSU gentleman next week will explain, is whether you're for or against it, it's
Right.
irrelevant. You need the ordinances either way. So it's important to understand the things that you need to make sure that you put in those ordinances, whether it's the dismantle, whether it's, you know, what it does to the farmland, whether it's, you know, whatever. I mean, they're willing to pay farmers a lot of money to put these on, but farmer also needs to understand their value just went up, their taxes are going up, everything is going up. So you just need to understand all aspects of it as you get into it. And that's why that presentation is so important for each and every township to be a part of, or at least their zoning or planning commissions.
Yeah, and AEP has told us that they are taking one of their coal plants offline. They have to come up with a plan for additional baseload capacity, and part of that plan is solar. And they have people working across Southwest Michigan to line up farm leases to add solar arrays. So it's one of these that it might not directly impact county operations, but it does directly impact all of the local units, and trying to use the committee of the whole to get that word out seems like a really good thing for the local units.
And as of right now, a representative from AEP will also be at this meeting.
Yep.
Okay, and then the last thing, I had parks yesterday. Jill put together a great tour for some of the newer parks commissioners. I was not able to attend the entire tour, but got to attend some of it. And then we had our meeting at the end of that at Love Creek. And I will mention, Love Creek is going to do its first ever Monarch Festival on July 29th. So mark your calendars. It will be a complete festival. There'll be activities for the butterflies and for people and face painting for kids and, you know, all sorts of things that they're planning. So watch for more details on that, but mark your calendar. First ever Monarch Festival at Love Creek. Oh, and we did see a really cool something spotted woodpecker that came flying up to the window, one of the feeders during our meeting, and it's like double the size of any woodpecker I've ever seen before. It was absolutely incredible. So anyway, those were my meetings.
Big red-headed.
He called it something and I should have wrote down.
Woodpecker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, that's it.
I got a big one in my house.
It
and a
is
little one. I got
huge.
Yeah, they're cool.
So,
They're what they're
That's my
pecking on half the time, but
Are there any, well,
Tuesday, we had disaster training at the EOC. Commissioner Harrison and Kern can expand a little more on it, but I was impressed that the comments from the observers at the end were still similar to what we've always heard. I know we're one of the top counties in disaster training in, you know, Michigan, of course, and probably the country, but the fact that we have so many new faces the last few years, because we haven't done it, we've got new people in new positions. And they were still saying how remarkable it is that we know each other. Everybody, you know, you don't have to go around. Most of the ones they observe, the people are asking who everybody is. They got to wear name tags, but our whole group is aware of who does what there. And there's a great comments that we heard at the end, and Jim can expand more. He was our leader that day, so.
thank you.
Madam Chair, can I-
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I handed this out to each commissioner. Riverwood puts this out once a year, and the back page has all the mental health resources on it, so that you can look them up and help you.
Yes, yes. I also attended the exercise at the EOC with the Cook Nuclear Plant. And you gotta give a shout out to the sheriff and his staff. You know, Rocky, Dave Albers and Mike Troop, they do an excellent job on organizing and putting together training. And just to give you an idea of our department people who participate in this, you've got Caitlin Samsel, our 911 director. She's there. You have Warren Parrish from Equalization. He is there. You have our road department represented. You have our health department represented. You have our IT department and you have our GIS department. So there's a lot of involvement and a lot of time and effort goes in. We had 2 training sessions before this graded exercise. And like Dave said, you know, the evaluators always have pretty good comments for us because I think of the work that Paul and his staff does in getting us prepared and the training that we do. The training is so important to get us prepared for this. And then you stop and think of all the other people who are taking time off of their work to come and participate in this. You know, the American Red Cross, you've got all the police, you've got all the fire, you got ambulance, you got Lakeland Hospital. You know, it's just a good cross section of people participating in this. And I honestly and truly believe that because we have the Cook plant and previous we had the Palisades plant, so every year we were doing something that when we do have a natural disaster, we are better prepared because of this training. So again, I want to give a shout out to Paul and his staff, and I think everything went very well. That's my report.
Thank you. I attended the Benton Charter Township Board meeting on Tuesday. They are applying for a $19 million state revolving loan for new water towers, lines, etc. Unsure if they're going to get it. They're putting together the application. They have been very intentional about it, but there are problems with the water towers they have currently, and some of the water lines just need to be updated. So they're shooting for the moon for the entire 19 million, but of course they'll take what they get. Next week, kids from Sodus School District are preparing a presentation. It's going to be really interesting. They have put together a presentation on how they would like to see the parks in Sodus improved. They got quotes from contractors. They have project plans, slides, and they invited everyone that was at the Sodus Township meeting 2 weeks ago. And then I was also invited to go to that. So I'm excited to see that next week. The SMCAA meeting was canceled on Wednesday and rescheduled to next Wednesday due to a location having to be shifted around. And then there are 2 events this afternoon, if anyone would like to go to them. Emergency Shelter Services, our local HARA, is unveiling and reopening and doing a ribbon cutting at 3 p.m. at 53 West Wall Street. And then there's a Spectrum Health housing event at the Livery in downtown Benton Harbor today at 5:30 p.m. That's my report.
Thank you.
I also attended the police officer memorial event with Commissioners Werfel and Freeling. It was very well done and very much proper respect given to the fallen officers. I participated in scholarship awards at St. Joseph Public Schools on behalf of the Bering Community Foundation. And I really have to reaffirm the comments made by Commissioners Volrath and Kern about the work done by Rocky and his staff and Sheriff Bailey. Really an excellent event. And then also had a meeting of the executive committee, and that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Last week I attended BC BIT meeting and we just discussed some updates and some next steps regarding the Robin Grant and where we are in that process. And we also talked about the roadmap for BC BIT and where do we want to go from here after Robin Grant? What does broadband look like? Broadband build out look like for the county? I also attended the SWIMBA substance use disorder meeting in Kalamazoo, and we just got an update on the intergovernmental contract with the 8 counties that have this contract with SWIMBA, and representatives are willing to come to county commissioner meetings to kind of speak on that contract that has to be renewed. And each county has to renew the same version of that intergovernmental agreement. So we should be getting some correspondence from their representatives on when they could come to our meeting. And we also got an update from a few representatives from our substance abuse disorder oversight policy board. And so that concludes my report.
Thank you.
No report.
I think most everything's already been reported out on and what I also attended. I do know that there was some handouts that were given in BC Bit. I think those have been forwarded to the other members of the board, and it's likely in our minutes or the notes that we have for BC Bit on that page.
Yep.
Of any other information as it related to the work that DCS Technology has been doing on our behalf for broadband. They have submitted almost 1,800 challenges to the FCC Fabric. We're almost at the end of that 30 or 60-day window of contesting our challenge. At least 1,400 of them have been upheld, meaning they've been identified as unserved in Berrien County, even though the FCC's map claimed they were served. So what that means is that we'll be able to potentially have additional grant dollars available for those locations. More to come from there. We're hoping that the MyHigh office will hold true to their timeline for the Robin Grant initial award announcements, and that will likely be sometime after Memorial Day. So with that, I'll turn it over to the administrator for any of his comments, reports, or anything like that you might want to share.
No
Nothing?
report?
Oh, nothing. Next, we come to the point of general public comments. Any matters that you'd like to bring to the attention of the board, please do so by coming to the podium.
Melissa Clapper, St. Charter Township. I know I've said this before, but I'm going to repeat it again. Thank you all for everything you do. Administrative was very informative this morning from Ashley's report with animal control, hearing about the different things that you've all participated in. I'm going to suggest, and maybe it's already done and I just don't remember, that it would be a great coverage from the paper to talk about all the different committees that you all participate in, the different committees that we try to involve the local units of government as part of this, so that it is definitely a team effort. And I mean, I've been coming now for, hard to believe, 10 years. And you know, I'm still learning things that I didn't know. And so I think that it's a conduit, you know, kudos to all of you, but it would also be a great report, an annual report to be put out for the public, to let everyone know all the things that you do that are connected to things that people don't know, that they don't know, that are connected to them. So thank you all.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments?
Elter Hager Township. Town. How do you communicate with the people of the county? Why don't you put something out? A couple of weeks ago, I told you about St. Joe Township that come out with a monthly newsletter. When was the last time you guys came out with something? See this? Why can't you do the same thing? Now, how do people know who their representative is? You know, unless they put it in the paper. You are not communicating with the masses. That's me and him and her. So there are only three of us here. You guys outnumbered again. Usually there are only two or four. So what I'm suggesting is get somebody to write something like this. Put it out once a week, or put it over there so people know who the representative is. Now, you guys are hiding everything under the rug. You know, you're meeting at the wrong time during the day. No, that's another thing I want to ask you. You ought to put that on the ballot. Ask the people out there what would be a good time for them for the meeting, not for you. You guys making the decisions, see? And you forget about the rest of it. You don't want us here, but take a look at it. Why is that? I'm the only one complaining. You guys are meeting at the wrong time. Maybe instead of 4 times a month, maybe it's twice. And put out some kind of a newsletter, let people know what you are doing and ask for their opinion. No, this is not really a democracy. You guys are dictators. You make your own rules. You guys determine how much money you get too.
2 minutes, sir.
Who said that?
Thank you, Mr. Belzer. Are there any other public comments?
I just wanted to verify, since I interrupted
State your
Jim,
name.
Sheriff Paul Bailey, Berrien Township. It will go from 6 to 9 deputies, but there's also a lieutenant down there. So there'll be 10 total, counting the lieutenant and 1 civilian secretary. So Niles Township will be paying for 11 personnel to run the Niles Township Sheriff's Office patrol down in that area.
Okay.
So, but the last gentleman that's talking, we have a great big website with all that information he's talking about, with all the services that everybody does. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think what I heard.
Are there any other comments?
You're right, you did mess up.
Michael? Okay. With no other public comments, other business, is there anything to come before the board in other business? No, none. Announcements and reminders, Monday, May 29th, 2023, county facilities will be closed for Memorial Day. And then Thursday, June 1st, 2 weeks from now, we will have a night meeting at 6 p.m. down in Three Oaks at the 19 North Froylicks, which is what used to be the old dime store down in Three Oaks, right on the main drag. So we will be down